Thank you very much for joining the TT Live webinar on the TT order types. This webinar will be run by myself, Brian Sneesick, and my colleague, Mike Riley. This is the first webinar in a series of 3 that we'll be running for the TT order types. In this webinar, we are going to discuss what the order types are, the benefits of using them, and the different ways to configure them. For any questions you have, please email us at training-ux@tradingtechnologies.com.
First, we will discuss the TT Iceberg order type. A TT Iceberg order executes a large volume order by breaking it into smaller disclosed orders, publicly displaying only the specified portion instead of the full order quantity. When one disclosed portion fills, the next portion is entered into the market. This process continues until the order is filled. TT Iceberg provides enhanced control over Iceberg order execution, surpassing the capabilities of native exchange Iceberg orders. A TT Iceberg order is designed to trigger Iceberg orders based on market conditions, varying the quantity of each disclosed child order while adjusting the price. Why to use TT Iceberg? Traders who trade large quantities want to use Iceberg orders. The large volume of trade they need to execute comes with the potential to substantially change the current market price of a tradable instrument, as many buy or sell orders increase the pressure of demand or supply in the marketplace. A single order to buy, say 2,000 contracts, likely represents a significant increase in the level of demand for the instrument. Therefore, the price of it is likely to be pushed higher. Large traders use Iceberg orders to execute the total amount of buying or selling they wish to do in relatively small increments. They hope that by doing so, their orders will not cause the instrument's price to shift significantly adversely against them, and that they will be able to execute all of their buys or sells at or near their desired price. Large institutional traders looking to execute large orders face another concern that can prevent them from obtaining their desired price. If they place a single large order, the order quantity then becomes visible to other market participants. If a lot of other traders see that the institutional trader is, for example, trying to buy a massive number of contracts of a certain instrument, then they may look to jump in and buy a lot of those contracts themselves. The additional buying pressure may drive the instrument's price up significantly, forcing the institutional trader to pay a higher price for their contracts than they originally wanted to. All right, next we'll move on to the platform where we'll display how to set the parameters with fixed or percentage quantities, varied prices, customizable start and end times, and some trailing triggers. Okay, here we'll demonstrate how to use the TT Iceberg order type. You come here to your dropdown, your order type dropdown, and you come down to TT order types and choose TT Iceberg. Here's the flyout that comes out. So here, the Iceberg details. First, this is the display. We'll do this as 100 lots total. So this is your total quantity here. Here's your display quantity, 10 at a time. We'll leave the variance alone at this moment. If we hit this little magnifying glass, it'll show you the child slices that'll be coming out. And they're pretty uniform since we're just going to be going ahead displaying 10 times. We're going to leave the rest of these alone at the moment and just place this basic. A basic Iceberg order slices a large quantity order into smaller sized orders of a fixed quantity, all at the same price. A TT Iceberg lets you specify either a fixed quantity for every child order or specify the static quantity as a percentage of the total parent order quantity. And I could change that here to percentage if I wanted to. We'll keep it just as quantity. All right, and you come here on your desired price that you want to place your TT Iceberg at. All right, great. So here you'll see that the total order is 100 lots. Undisclosed here on the ladder is 90. We're displaying 10, working 10, bought 0. Come here to the order book. We'll see that it's purple. That means that's a working algo with a child order in the market. The type right here is TT Iceberg. The status of the algo is working. Here we can see the parent algo. The total order quantity is 100. We're working 10, and we've executed none so far. And here's the child order that's nested inside of it. That's 10 lots working right now, and this is just a 10 lot order working at the exchange. Here, I'll come in a different account right now, and we'll go ahead and we'll try and fill some of these. So now you can see here that 10 lots was filled. Now we're undisclosed on 80, displaying 10, working 10. And here we can see that the parent algo right here, executed quantity now is 10, working quantity is 10, total quantity is 100. And here's that first child fill right there. And now this is the next 10 lots that are working. Now, instead of submitting a fixed quantity for every child order, you can use a variance to increase or reduce the quantity of each child order by a random amount. This amount uses a percentage of the disclosed quantity as its threshold. So let's take a look at that here. So we make this come out. Again, we're going to just do 100 lots. Total quantity will display 10, but we're going to make a variance of 25% here. And now when I hit the magnifying glass, you see here how it will adjust. Some lots will be 9, some will be 11, and I could hit this button here to randomize it again. And if I make it 50%, that's 50% of the total quantity right there. All right, so that could go up to 15 or down to 5 or anywhere in between. I hit this button and it randomizes it again. All right, so the first slice here is going to place a 6 lot. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll come, we're going to place it right here at 73.5. All right, like I was saying, working quantity 6. So here's the total order quantity of 100, working quantity at 6. Here I will go and look to get these 6. All right, great. The next slice that just came out, working quantity 5, executed quantity 6. Here, if I highlight the order, you can even come and take a look. So that's how you use variance. The default behavior for a TT Iceberg is to submit each child order at the same price. The TT Iceberg orders also let you dynamically set the price of each child order based on different market prices or on the price of the previous order. You can configure the TT Iceberg to determine the price of its child orders by offsetting the price a number of ticks away from the last traded price, the ask or the bid price of the market at the time the child order is submitted, or the price of the last child order, which would be the previous slice. Now let's take a look at that. So here, we open up the parameter again, and now we click offset. This gives us the ability on this drop down here to say where do you want our slice to join. Right now we're going to ask it to join the bid. 0 will join the actual bid. A positive number will be 1 tick away, and a negative number will move it 1 tick forward towards the inside market. All right, so we'll do that. We'll make it, we'll come up 1 level above the bid. So here again, we're going to make this a 100 lot. Displaying 10, we'll keep variance at 0 at this moment. We're going to do an offset where it joins the bid. So here, I'll even click down here at 70.75. The bid right now is at 72.75. We click that. Now my order went in 1 tick better than the bid. Now if we come and we can actually get this filled, again, take a look here in the order book. Working 10 at the moment at the market, in the market at 47.73. Previous bid was 72.75, so we're 1 tick better, and we're working 10 lots right now. Here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out all 20 at that level, and there I joined again at 73.25 on my next 10. So I executed 10, and there's the other 10 right there. I'm working 10 and total quantity of 100. You can also place an order if I wanted to on the previous slice, and then I can make it back off too. So here, let me cancel this other order. Let's go to here. We're going to make it previous slice, but we're going to make it 1 positive number so that it will move down. All right, so first we're going to come here. We're going to do a 100 lot, displaying 10 again, offset previous slice of 1 lot of 1. All right, so we'll do that at 73.25 right now. So there we go. We see that the order is working at 73.25 on our first slice. Here I will come in a different account, offset it. And now my next one is 1 tick below the previous slice at 73. I go ahead and take that out. The next one would be 72.75. Now I'm working at 72.75. So offset. Same side and opposite side will come into play when we create a template, which then we can use as a custom action button. So then whichever side that we want to click on, if we're buying, then same side will keep joining the bid depending on the offset number that we have. If we keep it at 0, it'll keep joining the bid. Or if I click on the opposite side, then that would do a sell. And I'll show you that when we get to the template. You can also use trailing price triggers to determine when to start working a TT Iceberg parent order. Instead of entering your TT Iceberg parent order at a specific price level, you can have the TT Iceberg parent order trail the market. You can specify the number of ticks away from the market to set your trigger. If the market moves away from your trigger will reprice to remain the specified number of ticks away from the market. If the market moves towards your trigger, the trigger will remain at its price level. All right, let's take a look at that. We click down here on the precondition details. We're just going to keep this simple up here, 10 lots. We're going to again do 100 lots, but now we're going to create a trigger. All right, and then I'm going to use if touched, and I'm going to use it as the last traded price. That's with the trigger price I'm going to put in here at 47.72.75. All right, so here I'll go ahead, I'll place the order. Okay, so here's the order right there. Now you'll notice it's not purple now. That means it's a working algo, and it's showing that it's working. but there's nothing working at the market yet. We haven't released our child slice yet. The first slice hasn't been released. All right, so then let's take a look here. We can add trailing ticks if we want to. I actually put a trigger, an if touch trigger price. We can also do it off of the last traded price. We could do a trail, but we'll keep this as what I just set it as, 47.7275. Here I'll come across, I'll place a one lot at that price. See there, there's one out there now. And now also, again, I'm going to hit that. When I hit that, the price of 47.7275 is which should come across right here. That will then start working my TT Iceberg. Okay, so here I'm going to buy that one. All right, great, and now release that. So now I'm working undisclosed 90, displaying 10. Now it's turned purple, and that's showing the child order that was sent out to the exchange. I'm working that limit order now at 47.7275. Let's do that now with trailing ticks as well. Okay, so I cancel that again. We'll come here, we hit edit. This time we're going to use a trail, and we'll do this off of the last traded price, which was just 47.7275. All right, we'll make that 2 ticks off of there. We'll keep trailing that. Again, we're going to do 100 lots, simple 10 lots. All right, and then I will go ahead and place that right here. There's my order. Now if I come here at 47.7225, go ahead and buy this one. And there we go. By default, a TT Iceberg order begins working immediately after submission and continues to work until canceled. You can, however, customize when a TT Iceberg parent order begins working and when it stops. All right, now to take a look at that, we'll just do a simple one again here. We'll bring this out. We'll take this off, no triggers, 10 lot, again, make it 100 lot, and we come down to the precondition details. Here I can set a specific time. I could ask this to start working, let's just say in a couple minutes, and then I could choose an end time. And if I do choose an end time, it gives me the ability to do an end time action as well. I can either let the order cancel at the end of this end time here when the parent algo is going to cancel, or it could actually cross the inside market on the remaining child orders. I'll leave this as a day order at the moment. There we go. Here, again, I'm going to go ahead. Now you'll notice again that it's not purple. It has not released the child order to the exchange yet. Here I see that should start in about another 4 minutes. Also, you can create what are called templates. So this is a good one to create a template, especially if you have to do something every day. Click edit, choose your time. I could choose my end time as well. So let's just say that would be, let this work for 5 minutes or so. And then I want it to cross the inside market. Here's my 100 lots displaying. I choose this drop down right here, and then it says add template. From there I could call it test time. There's that drop down. I can then right click on my MD Trader, edit custom action buttons, hit this right here, choose TT Iceberg, and then there's the button that's created. When it's yellow, it's activated. When it's gray, it's gone. And then I open this up and it keeps my parameters there. This will actually keep rolling to the date. So for tomorrow, this will show August 2nd. That's how you create templates for the different order type. All the order types have that. And then you can create multiple ones if you wanted to. Make one your default if you wanted to, or you can make none of them your default. And then you could assign each template to the different custom action buttons. And you can create multiple custom action buttons here, even of the same. And then if I had multiple templates, I would just add more templates, and then I could even call it different things. Tests. There we go. Next, we will review the TT stop order type.
Thanks, Brian. As Brian stated, we are going to be talking about the TT stop order. So a TT stop is an order that is triggered when the market has reached or penetrated a specific price in the market. Stop triggers are typically set worse than the current market prices, which means the buy stops are going to be placed above the current last traded price, while sell stops are placed below the last traded price. So in this case, the TT stop what is it? All right, so it is stop functionality with some additional, customizable triggers and order details. The stop is going to be based on a lot of different features, so price, quantity, time. We're going to go through how to bring these into the stop itself. And why do we have this? And why offer a TT stop? And really, it's to provide stops in markets that don't natively offer those stops, to allow the stop to adjust with market changes, provide additional flexibility, and really help manage the risk that you are managing as you trade on a day-to-day basis. So how do we do this? How do we customize these parameters and so forth? We're going to be walking through that here in a moment. We'll be walking through, adjusting the price, the quantity, the time, and the various order types that when triggered will be submitted. I'm going to pull up this workspace here, and this is going to be in the certification environment, in the UAT environment. And what we're looking at here, we're going to have two MD traders. Obviously, on the left, I've got quite a few orders in the book already, and we're going to be using this. We're using the testing environment so that we can exactly trigger in a way to demonstrate the various features of this particular order type. So I've got the two MD traders. We'll be placing the stops on the MD trader on the right, and we're simulating the market movements using the MD trader on the left. I've then got a order book down below. It is filtered for just the orders that we'll be placing on the right, so the TT stop orders. And then there is a audit trail tucked behind that order book. If we go to the order type dropdown that we have on our MD trader on the right, you'll see the native order types, in this case for the CME, for the S&P 500. Native order types at the top. As we go about halfway down the TT order type section, we will see the TT stop. And when we click on that, we're going to get the flyout that has all the parameters for this particular order type. If it is not visible, there is a little edit button here. As we click on that, the flyout will appear. Now, the layout of this particular flyout is going to have the trigger details at the top, followed by the order details for when the stop is triggered. So what kind of order are we going to be submitting? And then the bottom will have the precondition details, which allows us to bring in time into the stop. So obviously we have a start and end time as to when this will be operating. Now, going to the top here for trigger details, we do have the price type. And if we click on this drop down, we're going to see LTP, bid, ask, same side and opposite side. Now, a general, more basic stop, like a stop limit order, for example, would say something like, if the price of 10 trades, then I want to be triggered at 10, and then submit a limit order, let's say. In this case, this functionality is present here with the LTP. So what we're saying here with LTP, we're saying if the quantity of the last traded price is greater than or equal to 1, then we want this order to be triggered. So with just that in mind, I can go over here to our bids column, and as I click at 72 3/4, that order is going to start working, so the TT stop. And if we look at our order book here, we do see the basic order information here. So buy, sell, blue for buy, red for sell. We do see that it is a CME with an asterisk indicating that it is a synthetic order type. And then as we kind of scroll off to the right here, we'll see all kinds of additional details. Most notably that it is a synthetic order type and has a synthetic status of pending trigger. Okay. We also see our trigger price there, 47, 72 3/4, and the status as working. All right, so with that order currently working, all that needs to happen is a 1 lot or greater to trade at 72 3/4. So I'm going to go over to the MD trader on the left, just going to simulate our market activity. And as I click a 1 lot at 72 3/4, we'll see the ask price go from 10 to 8, 1 for the click that I'm about to do, and 1 for the triggered TT stop. So I click, quantity goes to 8, and we are now long 1 in this particular contract. Now, in that case, that is just the last traded price, trading at that particular price, then submitting that limit order. If we go back to edit and we look at the price type, I can hit that drop down again. We do see the bid and the ask. The same side would represent, so if I were to place a buy order, the best bid would be the point of reference. If I place a sell order, the best ask would be the point of reference. With the opposite side, however, with a buy order, we'll be referencing the best ask, and with a sell order, we would be referencing the best bid. So I'm going to set this to opposite side, and let's say that we're concerned about the quantity of a dwindling ask quantity on the best ask. So let's say the quantity, if it gets less than or equal to 7, we want this order to be triggered and then to submit a child order. So again, I'm going to go to 72 3/4. And as I click that order in, it is going to be working at that price. And over here on the left side, I'm just going to change the quantity of my best ask. I'm going to drop that down to 6. And as I click change, we'll see that nothing is traded. However, we were triggered because that quantity dropped below our threshold of 7. It was triggered. It was then filled at a price of 72 3/4. and we are all done there. Now, some additional features that we do have here. We do have this option for trailing in ticks. So what this is going to do is say we will be able to click this order in here at 75 and a quarter. And as I click that order in, it is going to reference 3 ticks off of the best bid. All right, because we have the trailing ticks in set to 3. So I can go down to the sell side as well, and click that order in. And actually, to clarify, it's not the best ask plus 3 ticks. In this case, it is set to the last traded price plus 3 ticks. And you'll note that the distance for the sell order is only 2 off the best bid, but 3 off of the last traded price. All right, so going back to edit, that is our price type that we are basing that trail off of. Okay. Now, actually, we can demonstrate real quick here. If we change that to opposite side, deleted both those orders, put 2 more in, we would then see 3 ticks off the best ask and 3 ticks off the best bid. Next checkbox that we have here is the exclude implied prices. So that's just the optionality. If the exchange is providing implied prices, you can include that in your TT stops calculations or not. And then the next one is going to be the second condition. So if we were going to set up 2 conditions and have them both work together, we can do that as well. So the last traded price, the quantity is greater than or equal to 1. And let's say we also wanted the let's see, opposite side is going to be less than 5. We can set that up. Let me replenish our market here. Okay, so last traded price greater than or equal to 1. Opposite side less than or equal to 5. Again, I can place that order, and I'll go over here to the left, and we'll place some 1 lots. As I start to trade, 9, 8, 7. So 1 lots are trading, however, not until we are equal to 5, equal to 10, that we are actually triggered and then filled on that particular order. All right. The next section here, so order details. So this is once triggered, what is it that we are sending and how can we configure this? So the first field is on trigger, submit. And you'll see in the drop down here that we have a market order, limit order, or MLM order. Defaulted to a limit order in this case. And when we have it set to limit order, we do have some additional fields as well. So we do have a pay up option. So in this case, if I were to be triggered at a price of 72 3/4, we could pay up 1 tick and have that child order go in at a price of 73, or a negative pay up. So actually a back off order of sorts. So if we set that to -2 or -3, we would then, actually we can just demonstrate this real quick here. So if there is a trade, it should be triggered, and then that order would then be submitted 3 ticks negative, so not paying up but paying back 3 ticks in that case. Also, we haven't had a hung stop in this case. So if that were to occur, where the stop is triggered and the child order is submitted, however not filled, we would see this kind of a layout. So it's kind of the parent-child setup here. So the top line is the line for the TT stop. The second line is going to be for that child limit order. We do see we do have the little tree line down below here on the far left, indicating which orders are working for which parent orders. Now going back to that flyout, in this case, we were talking about a limit order and the pay up. We can also set a fixed limit price. So if I just stated that I wanted the price to be 4773.75, we could manually enter that in. Going back to pay up, generally probably have that set as a positive value. And also that is able to be set based on a specific value. So we can set, in this case, it was based off the trigger price, but we could set it based off of last traded price or the opposite side, for example. So if, let's say, set this down to 1 for the pay up, if the last traded price, okay, and let's go like this. Just make sure I've got this set here correctly. Pay up 1 from the opposite side. Let's say it was on the same side. So if this is triggered, we want to be 1 tick better than the best bid. I can set the order in place at a price of 73. And as that quantity dwindles, oh, I'm sorry, this was actually set to last traded price. Aha. All right, so I place the 1 lot. As that is triggered, it then goes to the same side. So it's a buy stop. So it looks at the best bid and it pays up from that value. So best bid plus 1 tick. And now it is working that limit order at a price of 72.5. So that gives the basis as to where you want that pay up to be from. So if it was opposite side, it would be referencing that ask price, and then you could pay up based on the number of ticks that you would like to pay up. Okay, there's also a with a tick functionality here. So in that case, we can also add on with a tick. So with a tick functionality is going to look at the other side of the market, and it's going to say if the quantity is less than whatever quantity you define, move the order forward by 1 tick. All right. So in this case, it's similar to how we are observing the opposite side and then moving the order closer to the market if the quantity starts to dwindle. So let's actually set one up here. So we'll do the price type with the opposite side set to 7. So this will trigger our initial order if it gets below 7. And then let's get this down here to the, let's go with the bid here. So we will place the order to join the best bid once it's triggered. Get rid of some of this. There we go. Okay, so we'll place a limit order, 0 pay up, so it will join the best bid in this case. All right, and then with the tick, so is going to say if the quantity then falls below a quantity of 5, then I want that order to move across the market. There we go. The order is working, not triggered. Now, as the quantity starts to diminish on the best ask, once it gets equal to 7, it will trigger the child order, which will then go in at a price of 72.5. And then once that quantity on the best ask drops equal to or below 5, it will then step across the market and should get filled on the remaining quantity. So in our simulated market on the left here, we're going to place some 1 lots in order to do the reduction in the best ask. So 9, 8, and 7. It triggers the limit order, 72.5. Then as the quantity continues to decrease, once we get to 5 or less than, there we go. It then steps across the market and moves from 72.5 to 72.75, getting filled for us. So that's the with a tick. In that case, we were using the quantity. You can also do it percentage based, but we're just going to go with quantity for that one there. The next tick is going to be auto resubmit upon GTD expiry. So if the orders aren't fully filled at the end of the day, this can just re-add those orders for you so that the stop can complete the entire working quantity. Bottom section here, again, precondition details allows us to bring time into the stop. So in this case, it's set to now and day by default. I do have a number of options here, so I can actually specify a date and time. So let's say I just move the time higher in minutes. And then I can also specify a time on the other side. Well, I've got a few options, right? So I've got good till cancel, I've got a specified time, and I have day. Now, if I go to time, I can say it's only going to work from a Tuesday to a Wednesday, hit apply. And now if I click that order in, that order is working. And let's say order starts to trade higher and higher, market's going considerably higher, probably should have been triggered given the parameters, or nothing's going to happen because we haven't reached the time window in which this is observing and willing to be triggered. So if we scroll across here in our order book, we do have a start and end time as well, so we can see when exactly that window is that applies to this particular TT stop. If we do specify a time, we do get an at-end action. So if the order is not filled, we can then, at the end of that window, we can either cancel it or we can send the orders to market in order to try and get filled. All right. Back at the start, we do have the current where it just automatically works with it set to now. Obviously, time lets us specify that time, and then pre-open. As the exchange goes to pre-open or open, we can have that message received by the order type and then kick in and start to observe, whether it's quantity or the price for the TT stop, in which case it needs to be triggered, and we can have that moment begin that window of observation. That's probably it for the TT stop for now, and now it's back to Brian and our next order type.
Next, we will cover the TT Sniper order type. TT Sniper is an OTA, that's an order ticket algo that allows you to hide your intent to buy or sell at a given price until there is quantity available at that price on the opposite side of the market. When submitted, TT Sniper looks at the quantity available on the opposite side of the market at the specified order price for the given contract. If there is at least 1 lot available at this price or better, a child limit order will be submitted at this price with a quantity equal to the available or remaining quantity to execute, whichever is less. If the full child order quantity is not immediately filled, TT Sniper will cancel the balance and add the unfilled quantity back to the quantity remaining to be filled. It will repeat this until the total quantity is filled. Why would someone want to use TT Sniper? Well, it is designed to keep the overall intent of the order hidden from the rest of the market by dividing the parent order into smaller child orders and by executing these orders as liquidity at desired price becomes available. All right, next I'll move on to the platform where I'll show you how to configure the parameters and we can do some execution on this. TT Sniper can be found in the order type dropdown. We hit here, we come down to below the TT order types, we come down to what we call the OTA algos, the order ticket algos. Here's TT Sniper, we click that, and here's the flyout right here. We can set the aggressiveness, and the aggressiveness sets the number of seconds to wait before submitting additional orders at the specified price or better. The minimum setting is 0.25, that's 250 milliseconds, and the default is 1 second, and we'll leave that there. The ignore market state sets whether to ignore changes in the market state. If unchecked, the algo will pause when the market state of the instrument transitions to closed. We'll leave that alone right now, we won't check that. We'll keep the time in force as day. And then you can even put an instance name in here if I wanted to, that would come through text TT. I'm gonna leave that though at this time. All right, so here I'm gonna place a 10 lot and I'm gonna put this down above the current bid of 72.75. All right, so the order is working here. You can see the star for the undisclosed. We're displaying 0, we're working 0, and we bought 0. Coming here to the TT order book, we can see that the order is working. There's nothing working at the exchange, so this is just a working algo right now with no children. The type is Sniper. See the status of the algo is working, and here's the price, 47.72 and 3/4. All right, in a different account here, I'm just going to go ahead and do one lot at 72.75 right here. All right, great. So now you can see here that the algo updated. We did execute that one lot. So the algo is still working 9. Executed quantity is 1. Total order quantity was 10. Below that is the child order that got filled. And you see now it's nestled below. This one lot got filled at 72.75. And that shows that it's filled. There's nothing else working in the market right now. All right, here I'll go about and I'll do another one lot again at this price. And now again, 8 are done. I could do more. Let's do 4. We're at the point now here where our execute quantity is 6 and I'm still working 4 on the algo. And here are the 3 different child orders that got filled. With TT Sniper, you could also set up a template where it will remember your aggressiveness and your other settings as well. Add the template, call it something like test, hit save, and then we can save that as a custom action button as well. Choose our template, boom, just hit OK, and there it appears. Click it on, click it off, and it saves whatever we had here. So that's the TT Sniper order type. Next we'll be covering the TT trailing limit order type. A TT trailing limit order submits a native limit exchange order into the market, then dynamically adjusts the price to stay within a specified distance of the market if it moves away. This means a buy trailing limit sets the price a fixed amount below the market price. The order moves higher if the market moves above the highest recent price. The order will not adjust if the market moves lower. A sell trailing limit sets the price a fixed amount above the market price. The order moves lower if the market moves below the lowest recent price. The order does not adjust if the market moves up. Why would someone use TT trailing limit? Well, it allows a user to place an order that will then be managed by the order type to continue to track the bid or offer and dynamically adjust the price to stay within a specified distance of the market if it moves away. All right, next I'll move on to the platform where I'll show you how to configure the parameters, specify the trigger price. We can even customize the start and the end times. All right, here's my screen. We're just going to test this in the June mini S&P and the UAT market. I have manipulated the market here. So on the drop down, you would come to order types and come down to TT order types and choose trailing limit. Flyout here pops out. Start here. You could choose the trailing price type. You got last traded price, bid, ask, same side or opposite side. These 3 right here we'll focus on at the moment, and then we'll talk about same side and opposite side, how it works in a template. So last traded price right now, we'll use that. And then this is the trail ticks. So whatever the last traded price is, this would then be 3 ticks behind that. And you could adjust that with here, or you could even just type in whatever you like. Just keep it right now at 3. Precondition details are how you can set when the algo starts working. Right now it's set to start and it defaults at now, but you can set a specific time and an end time as well. If you do choose a specific end time, you can then take an at end action, which will then cancel or go to the market, whichever you choose at this end time. Right now, we'll just come back to now, day. I'm gonna come here, I'm just gonna make a quick trade. All right, the last traded price is 47.74. So now here, I wanna trail that by 3. I have my 10 lots. I'm gonna come here and click on the buy. And now my order's working. You can see here, this was the last traded price at 74. I'm now trailing it by 3 ticks. If we come down here to the order book, we can take a look there as well. See the purple line here at the top, that's the parent algo. The child order is nested below. I can collapse it like that. Type, you see in the TT trailing limit, and then below that, the child is just a limit order. It's working at this level right now, 47.73 and a quarter. The status of the algo is working and the child order is working right now. So then let's go ahead and get this to print another tick higher. All right, great. So now the last traded price is 74 and a quarter. And you'll see that this did pull it up 1 tick. I'm still trailing it by 3. If I highlight the order here as well in the order book, I can see what the parameters I had set. Take a look at an example now of trailing the bid. So let's go here. We'll make that bid 3. We'll make this one 2 ticks from there. Again, the bid right now is at 73.5. I place my order. Now I'm trailing it by 2 ticks. Right here, I place this new order, highlight it, bid, 2 ticks. Now we'll continue to trail. Here, let's see if I can clear out the next level. Good. Okay, I'll cancel these right here. And then if you needed to, you could even create templates like I was discussing before. So you hit this edit button here. I could come, last traded price. Or I could do same side or opposite side. That means whichever side I'm clicking on in the ladder, buy or sell, that's the direction that I'm going to be joining with the trail on either the bid or the offer. So if I do same side, 2 ticks, now I come here, I hit this drop down, I say add template, give it a name, test for right now. There's that, it's saved. And now I can come here and actually create what's called a custom action button. So here, let me just move this over. Order type. Now we come to trailing limit. Choose test. Hit OK. It creates that button right there. Click it. When it's not yellow, it's not activated. When I click it, it activates it. And then you'll see right there. There's the parameters I had set. All right. Here, I'm going to go ahead. This is the same side, so I want to buy 10. And I'll be trailing the bid by 2. And there we go. I placed the order. Same side. Came there. Now, with the same template on, same side, I want to be trailing the offer by 2 if I click on the sell side. And there we are. The offer's here, I'm trailing it by 2. So that's how you can create custom action buttons with the templates. Coming next, we will cover the TT if touched order type.
As Brian said, we're going to be talking about the TT if touched order. An if touched order is an order that is triggered when the market has reached or traded through a specified price in the market. If touched orders are similar to stop orders, except the trigger price behavior is inverted. An if touched order price is typically set better than the current market. So buy if touched orders are generally placed below the current last traded price, while sell if touched orders are generally placed above the current last traded price. What is the TT if touched order? It is triggered when the market has reached or traded through a specified price in the market, often described as an inverted stop. So if the market is trading down with a TT if touched, if it reaches a certain price, it will then buy the market, whereas a stop order is going to, as the market trades down, it would trade at a certain price, that stop would further sell. So in this case, we're buying versus selling when the market would be dropping. So why have the TT if touched order type? The biggest reason is they have an undisclosed quantity in the market. So an order doesn't have to be working in the book to alert the market to the size or the quantity of contracts that you're looking to buy. There's some additional settings that help you determine, when to buy or sell and when to set that trigger to go off. And as we walk through this, we're going to look at how to set those triggers and how to configure the parameters for various conditions that you might want to have to benefit your trading. We're going to go back to the workspace here. Again, I'm in the UAT environment, the certification environment. And what we're looking at here, 2MD traders. On the left side, I'm making the market for this particular S&P June 24 contract. I do have an order book down below. It is filtered for the count that I have on the right side here, and got an audit trail in the back as well. Now, if I go to the MD trader on the right side here, I can click on the order type dropdown, and third option underneath the TT order types is going to be the TT if touched order type. Now we're going to get the flyout to appear when we select that order. If it does not appear, there is an edit button here that can allow you to open or close that flyout. And in the flyout, we see trigger details at the top, order details in the middle, and precondition details at the bottom. So the top grouping for trigger details is everything that we can do to set up our trigger details, our price, our conditions, and so forth. Currently, we're looking at price type, and we have LTP. In the dropdown, we can base our trigger off of 5 different things here. So last traded price, bid, ask, same side, and opposite side. Same side is going to be, the best bid for buy orders, best ask for sell orders, and then opposite side is going to be, the best ask for buy orders, and for sell orders, the best bid. In this case, we'll just start with last traded price, and we'll say if the quantity is greater than or equal to 1, we want this order to be triggered. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go into our MD trader, and I'm going to go down to a price of 72.5, and I'm going to place that if touched order. Okay. Now, as that order is working, we can imagine that the market is moving lower, and so I'm just going to remove some orders here. And actually, we'll continue with a market there at 42.5, and then if a one lot trades, we will then have our if touched order triggered. And that order is, in this case, paying up to a price of 72.75. All right. So first, in the order book, we do see similar to display as we would for a TT stop order, for example. So the top line here is going to be the parent order. It's purple, indicating that it has a child working order, which is also indicated by the tree branch that we have come down here. And we see that it is both working orders. It has been triggered and is working at this price of 72.75. With that order in place, we did also pay up. So we were initially at 72.5, and now it is working at 72.75. If we go back to our edit flyout, we'll go into this in more detail in a moment, but we do see for order details that it was a limit order and the pay up was 1 tick. So last traded price was 42.5, and we paid up 1 tick to 42.75. In the same way, we just had that order. Let me re-up our market here. We can go back into edit. We can hit that drop down again for the price type, and we can say for the opposite side. Now this is going to change our trigger focus. We were just looking at the last traded price. So in this case, I'm going to say for the opposite side, if the quantity is, let's say, less than 5, then it will trigger this particular order. So again, I'm going to put this buy order, right? It's going to be below the market, because we're waiting, for the market to come down and then trigger, and then we would buy. So I'm going to place this order down at 72.25, and we'll simulate by removing some of these orders the other side of the market coming towards us. All right, so I'm going to remove that one as well. Oops, there we go. Now, as the market, let's say the best ask is coming towards us, our threshold is that the quantity is less than 5. So as the market moves lower, it can come all the way down to this price of 72.25. We should be able to trade a one lot at that same price. However, our order is still working. It is not triggered. You can still see it's pending trigger down here. So it is still working in the book, even though the market has dropped down to that price. Now, obviously, our configuration here was that the opposite side was less than or equal to 5. In that case, the opposite side, because it's a buy order, the opposite side is the best ask. And currently that quantity is 9. So what we can actually do is we can reduce this quantity. Say we'll take it down to 6 first. So now it is best ask of 6, still not triggered. And then as we move that down to a 5, we then see that the order is triggered. And quick flash there again. as the pay up was 1 tick, sent a limit order at a price of 72.5. So the trigger price plus 1 tick, and now we are filled at 72.25. Now going back up to our trigger details here, we do have a checkbox here for trail and ticks. Again, this is going to be setting our initial trigger price. So if I were to go into the bids way down here at 69.75, I can click, and you'll see that the order is going to 3 price increments, so 3 ticks, off of the opposite side. So it is the price type of the opposite side plus 3 ticks. So in this case, the best ask, and then down 3 ticks for 71.5. If I went to the other side, I could click in on the sell side or on the ask, and I could click that order in, and you would see that again, it would be opposite side plus 3 ticks, which gives us 72.75. You can also change that to last traded price, bid, ask, same side, and so forth. But again, the same rules would apply. We can also do a secondary condition here. In order for this to be triggered, you'll be looking to satisfy both conditions. So if the last traded price was greater than 5, there we go, and the opposite side quantity was, let's say, less than 8. Let's freshen up the book here. In this case, so we can do both of these, I'm going to put our if touched order at a price of 72 even. Now that order is currently working, and we're going to need both things here. So a last traded price with a quantity greater than 5, as well as the opposite side with a quantity of less than 8. So in this case, we will simulate some trades on our simulated side of the market here. So click those orders in. Now, quite a few contracts have traded. Now, we have a last traded quantity of 6 so far. And if we are going to reduce our ask, go with 6, I click change. And then if that order were to move across, both conditions would be satisfied because the price has reached 42 even. The quantity is less than our predefined quantity of 8 on the ask, and the last traded quantity of 7 has now traded at that particular price. I'm going to freshen up the book here. So going back to our config here, under order details, in both cases there, we were sending a limit order. So the field here is on trigger, submit, and we have various order types that we can select. So we have market and a limit order. When we select limit order, we do have some additional configurations that's available to us. So the first is going to be the option to pay up. So in that case, I was paying up from the last traded price. So to read left to right here, it is a pay up of 1 tick from the last traded price, which we did that on every trade so far. This can be modified, so we can pay up again from the last traded price, the bid, the ask, the trigger price, which we initially set, or the same side or the opposite side. Same side, opposite side rules applying. With a tick, we'll also look at the quantity of the market on the other side. So in this case, we could say if the quantity is, with a tick threshold of 5, would say if the quantity on the opposite side of the market drops below a quantity of 5, then we want to move our order forward by 1 tick. Okay, so let's actually demonstrate this real quick here. We'll do last traded price with a quantity greater than or equal to 1. So only 1 needs to trade in order to trigger. So we'll initially submit a limit order, a pay up of 1 tick. So we will trade at a price of 72. We'll submit once triggered at a price of 72.25. The with a tick parameter will then move the order forward a tick once the best ask at 72.5 drops below a quantity of 5. Okay, let's see if we can get this right on the first shot here. I'm going to place the order at 72 even. We are going to simulate a 1-lot trading on our MD trader to the left. So as I click, the order is initially submitted. Let's pull up that config again. The order is initially submitted as a limit order with a pay up of 1 tick from the best bid. Now with the tick, quantity is currently set to 5. So I am then going to simulate some buy orders on the MD trader on the left, reducing the best ask, and we'll see it start to move once we get down to a quantity of 5. that case, we eliminated the whole thing, kind of a mistick there. But nevertheless, as that quantity diminished, the with a tick kicked in and then moved our order from a price of 72 and a quarter up to a price of 72 half. So initially, limit order submitted one tick better than the best bid. Once the quantity on the best ask was reduced, in this case, backed off an entire tick, with a tick, moved our child order up one tick from 72 quarter to 72 half. Again, we have the auto resubmit upon GTD expiry. So if day orders are being canceled, you can use this to reinsert those orders after the market reopens. And then the last section here is precondition details. So this gives you a start and end time in which to have your TT if touched order type actually observing and waiting to be triggered. So in this case, it's going to default to now. However, we do have the option for a time where you can select a specific date and time. We do have pre-open and we have open. So a message is received from the exchange as to when it is in pre-open or open. That is going to dictate when that timestamp actually begins. For time, we can simply move the date and time selector, click apply. And if I were to, let's see here, if I were to place last traded price, okay. So if I were to place that order with a future start time, I could then have all kinds of activity and nothing would take place because the TT if touched order hasn't reached its window yet. So if I were to scroll out here on my order book, we would have a start time designated here, 1926. So nothing would happen until that time has been reached. Okay. On the end side of things, in the dropdown, we have GTC as an option. We have another end option, in which case we can specify the start and end time. Again, select the date, select the time, click apply. And then when we have it set to time, we also have the at end action. So in this case, we have it set to cancel. We can also set it to go to market if we wanted to ensure that those child orders were sent and filled. One other thing I would note up at the top here, and this applies for, I believe, all of our TT order types, we do have the label at the top for TT if touched at the top of our flyout. I would point out that this drop down here is for templates. So if there is a specific config that you are looking to use, say opposite side quantity greater than or equal to 5, you can click that drop down, add template, and say greater than 5. Hit save. Now that template is going to be locked in there, and I can then, every time I use this order type, I see this flyout, I can then select that particular greater than 5 configuration. And you'll see that all the drop downs and everything would stick to that template configuration. Furthermore, if we go to our MD Trader and I right click down below here, I can select Edit Custom Action Buttons. We'll get a flyout here, and I can click on the plus sign here, and under category, I can say order type, and then I can select the TT if touched. There we go. And we do have a template option here, so I can specify that greater than 5. I can modify the actual text, but you can see I have a preview of what will appear here. So TT if touched, let's say G5. Click OK, and now I have that button readily accessible. And as I click on it, it will change the selection in the order type dropdown. So from limit to TT if touched, and I can then place those orders as I see fit. Hopefully everyone here has gained a comprehensive understanding of the TT order types that we've covered, their benefits and all their capabilities. As mentioned earlier, this webinar marks the first in a series of 3, giving all participants the opportunities to deepen their knowledge and improve their trading strategies. If you have any questions about the material covered, configurations, anything of that nature, please feel free to email us at training-ux@tradingtechnologies.com, and we'll certainly look to provide you the information or provide it in the first shot. So again, any questions, feel free to let us know, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.